part of the conversation, right?
Yeah.
Even though winter's a little weird. So, I mean, yeah, I think we're good to go. I think we're live. So, David, you can go ahead and start that whenever. When it's on you, Daphne.
Okay. Shall I commence? Are we ready? I'm assuming someone said yes. Okay, cool. Thank you. Hello, and welcome to the Real Estate Podcast. Today we are talking about fun things to do when it is cold outside. I personally feel like kind of having like a subtitle of things to do in the winter is also a really good way to describe what we're going to be talking about. Austin is known for being a very outdoorsy activity town, and Texas in general is super hot during the summer. So our winters are a really wonderful time to take advantage of everything that we have to do outdoors and all these activities and community events, etc. So that's what we're talking about today. Boom, boom, boom. Now, all of us have, I think, kind of different yet similar lifestyles. Ian, it's you are out and about all the time and super social. JJ, you have little ones. So I'm curious to hear also like what you guys like to do. And then I'm also out and about quite a bit. Yeah. Yeah. So is anybody just itching to start? No.
Everybody's itching.
I think Ian should go first. I think
You want me to say something?
Say it.
So I'll start with this. I'll lead with this. So right now I'm at Dog Day Coffee, which is off of Burnett in, I guess I'll call it Northwest Austin. And it's kind of cool because we have, like, Austin's one of those places that has so many places to visit that are unique. I remember the first time I came here and one of my friends goes, well, you should, like, we can't go to Starbucks. We got to go explore new stuff. So, like, this is a great example. It sounds silly, but think about how many places are near you that you haven't had a chance to visit. And this goes for anybody. Like, if you've spent time living in this place, why not explore the things that this place has to offer that you can't get anywhere else? Like, I was just looking at a peanut butter chocolate latte earlier today. I had a strawberry horchata. I know. And I was like, I didn't even know that existed. I'm excited. So there's so much to explore in the way. And so I feel like while it's cold, especially, you have a chance to, well, one, have warm drinks, but you have a chance to do like tour activities. I don't think a lot of people do that. Like, so you could go on a coffee tour, you can go on a barbecue tour, you can go on a taco tour and spend time like being a patron to these local businesses, but also exploring your neighborhood at the same time. It's really cool. What do y'all think?
I think that's very accurate. You said peanut butter chocolate latte. Have y'all ever put peanut butter in your coffee before?
Not outside of something like that, no.
I do, and I do it often, and it is delicious. Highly, highly recommended.
like a certain type of peanut butter.
I mean, yeah, obviously, like not like chunky peanut butter.
Nutella? That's chocolate. That's not peanut butter.
No, not Nutella. No, actually, it's like a very clean, very like nutrient dense drink. Obviously, you put coffee in there. I put almond milk, sometimes a little bit of peanut butter, and some stevia, and it is so good, so good, and it kind of fills you because of the fat too.
Well, after JJ said that, now I'm wondering, is Nutella, like, is hazelnut goes in coffee? There's hazelnut creamer all over the place, right? So maybe that's one of those things that would work out really well, but I've never tried it. JJ, you're gonna have me experimenting with some stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
like just the fact that like you have so many coffee shops that will do things like that here.
Yeah,
And so they're not afraid to experiment. Or if you ask them, say, hey, can you throw this in there? They're very accommodating. So I'm not going to say that's unique to Austin, but it's absolutely an Austin vibe where they're very accommodating to your palate and being able to adjust their cuisine or what they're offering to what you might prefer.
definitely.
Usually that's what I'm seeing.
There's even kind of like in the suburbs, you still see a lot of these kind of independently owned coffee shops that have their own flavor and vibe, which is really cool. One that is, I think, like a, I don't know if it's a Texas chain or an Austin chain, but it is Summer Moon Coffee. You guys know Summer Moon? So Summer Moon is awesome because, again, I think they're like a Texas chain or an Austin chain, but they go into kind of neighborhoods that are sort of dormant but on the up and up, and they'll take a spot in a strip mall and then they just deck it out and make it super industrial and super cute and very welcoming, and then have all sorts of really good drinks there. And yeah, kind of one of I feel like one of the signs to know that a neighborhood is growing is when a summer moon goes in. Do you guys ever go there?
Yeah, oh, I know you go there, JJ, right?
I love Summer Moon. I specifically choose non-Starbucks just for another feel of business. And Summer Moon, yeah. I think there's also like a hip one off of South Lamar, I believe.
Dude, they're all over it.
Right.
Yeah, they're all over it. I like. Can you all hear me still the same? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I was gonna say Summer Moon. It was actually an option to come here, Summer Moon, Genuine Joe's, and like a couple other places. And I looked at Summer Moon and I thought, I'm there too often. They have so many all over. It's almost saturated a little bit, right? Because just like you said, we have so many neighborhoods that are growing really rapidly, and so Summer Moon is infiltrating and saturating Austin. And I don't know that I've seen it anywhere else, but their claim to fame is wood-fired coffee. So another point to that though, like I know we're talking about coffee a lot at the beginning here, but you also have like Austin's one of those places where you can go get coffee or you can get a craft beer at multiple places. And that's really important in the winter time because you might want to drink, but you might be chilly. Today's an anomaly, but you might want to have those that duopoly.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that types of restaurant. Like, what is it? Easy Tiger.
Easy Tiger, Buzz Mill, yes,
I don't know Buzzmill. Where is that?
it's on Riverside or off
Yes,
Riverside,
it's like
yeah,
east on
and
east.
it's 24 hours. And so
Yeah,
they've got food trucks, and then they've got coffee, and then they've got beer.
I saw Matthew McConaughey there several years ago, like working like on a computer, or at least it seemed like he was working. And there was a show. There was actually a belly dancing show there.
Yeah, they do shows.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was outside with one of my girlfriends, and I went to the bathroom, and I came back. I was like, "Girl, I think I saw Matthew McConaughey." She's like, "No, you didn't." I'm like, legitimately, I saw him. So she went in, and I'm like, "Don't be obvious." And she was super obvious, but then she's like, "Yeah, that's him." So anyway,
You should have done a selfie and just have him in the background, kind of like
kind of like no
it's a
big
little
deal.
creepy, but it's fine. Like
Totally.
he gets it all the time, but also he probably appreciates that he's not being disturbed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All of it.
yeah, for sure. As far
I just like the fact that when it cools down, because it gets so hot. Like I'm looking up the stats here. HolidayWeather.com says that July is the hottest month in Austin. Average temperature 85 degrees. Does that sound right?
That's a lie.
Should be
five,
right.
You say 85? That's a
It's a,
lie. It's 85 now.
yeah, because
It's so warm outside.
it's so hot in the summers, you do not go out. Like
Well, I think that's why this is a great episode. I think that's why this is a great thing to talk about because it almost reverses polarity. Everything that people avoid in the summer, now is a great time to do that, except for water.
yeah. I was gonna say the water sports in the summer are perfect.
hmm,
Okay.
Well, that's why we have like indoor water parks, right?
sorry.
Yeah. So for families, that's wonderful.
Yeah, totally. Okay. So I'm gonna kind of kick us off. I think this might be a really good way to transition into semi-outdoor activities. I'm going to share a screen with you. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, this is one of my favorite places in Austin, Texas, USA, Earth. It is Mozart's Coffee. Mozart's Coffee Roaster has been around, I think, for about 30 years, if not a little bit more. And they are, for those listening who may not know, they are lost my train of thought, local coffee roaster and then also bakery. And then they have snacks and that kind of stuff. But kind of what they're known for during the holidays is that they have this outdoor light show, and it is so kitschy and so cheesy, and people go crazy over it. I had some clients that were in town last week, and they had some free time. I think it was like Wednesday afternoon, and they wanted to go check out Mozart's just during the afternoon, not even for the light show. And even then, they said there was like a line going outside the door to get coffee. So Mozart is super, super popular. It's also really friendly to all walks of life. So you can see some like older folk hanging out there. You see families with little ones. It's right on the lake, so it's very scenic. Have you guys been to this?
Not. I mean, I love Mozart's in general, not the light show, but Mozart's definitely because I mean, there's so many elements to it. The coffee. There's also like a retail strip. Like there's other businesses around there. It's waterfront across the way. You get to see Westlake houses. It's just a beautiful spot. Yeah, it's Westlake around there. My kids like it too because there's like wildlife. Obviously, it's like a lake, right? So they see turtles and it's a big deal.
I
Yeah.
almost feel like I should have gone there instead of here. I mean,
No, Wi-Fi there is
I didn't say
garbage.
that out loud.
I will say the Wi-Fi there is absolute trash. Absolute
Yeah.
trash.
I've been having a really challenging time. Even here right now, the Wi-Fi, as you can see, is not like performing. And there
Well,
aren't that many people here.
I mean, you're good on our end. I know it's probably not as crisp and clear and consistent as you want it to be, but like we're still hearing you okay.
Okay, good.
So just so you know,
Did the light show get filled really easily, or no?
the what
The light show. Maybe that's my excuse for not checking it out. It gets filled up really fast.
filled out. Yeah. I think honestly, like I'm. Where are the tickets? Okay, let's say for this date. So
See
I
if
feel
you
like
could earn.
it's kind of expensive. What's going on? Yeah, boom.
I thought that was free.
It's not that expensive. Never mind.
It does say get tickets.
No, it's okay. Oh, that's not too bad. Okay, so like $70 for four people. So
Your
so.
stream right now is just to get tickets.
Can't see.
So
Okay, so I pulled it up, but I guess it wasn't showing that.
is this like the only place that you end up going? Like for coffee and lights, that kind of, because it does have the strips. It has Hula Hut right there. You've got the boats. Nobody's on their boat. I mean, there might be a few out there, but this year there might be a few people on their boat. But generally, you don't have any boats or any water activity, and so the water is serene. And then you can sit out on the patio. You have the lights. You can walk around, and it's not too hot for most people. So yeah, it's a good place. I've gone every. I have not gone this year.
You've been previous years though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I go. Well, so I go when there's lights all the time. I've never. I don't know that I've gone and paid for tickets to go to like an event for it. Not that one, but that brings me to. I've done a handful already of the Christmas lights, and it's cool because you have the walking tours and you have the driving tours now,
Where
like where
at?
you're just driving through, and so you see all the Christmas lights, and it's pretty impressive. And so a lot of cities have that kind of thing right now,
You're talking about separate from Ozarks.
separate from Mozart's, but the same idea, the same concept. Conceptually, it's I want to see lights, but I don't want to have to drive all around the neighborhoods, right? And that was a separation once COVID happened.
Yeah. Like my family usually does the Trail of Lights at Zilker Park, and it's awesome. It's also very crowded. And November 1st, they opened up the light park at Dell Diamond and Round Rock at the baseball stadium.
Yeah, I went to both of those. Yes.
Less crowded. It was simple enough. I didn't need like something crazy. My kids are little, and I just thought it was simple. And I was like, I don't think we got to go to Trail Lights this year. Although Trail Lights is like super awesome, you know.
Yeah, but that one's walking. So like I wanted to bring my dogs, and I think it says you can't bring your puppies. I'm like, if I'm gonna be walking a couple miles this year, I want to try bringing the puppies.
I wonder if
Can't
they
do
would
that. But the one in Round Rock, it's in the car, right? So you're just like driving through,
go
and
through.
you could sync to the music.
And
I thought it
you
was really
tune into
cool.
your radio station, and the lights
Yep.
beat to the music, and they have like the singing characters and the mouths move with the LED lights. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think they did a good job with it.
That's what you do with a baseball stadium during Christmas.
I was actually just in Minnesota and they had one at the, what do you call it? It was like a football. It's like where the Minnesota Vikings train. They had a similar setup. It was it was very fast. I would have rather walked through it, and it was like $40 for one car, which felt like a lot for a
Yeah.
minute drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
So
my
the
mom.
one in Round Rock is like 2.5 miles,
Wow,
and you're going pretty slow.
like five
So
miles.
it's still a good 20-30 minutes.
Or stopping and stuff too.
Yeah, there's a lot of people stopping, taking videos and pictures and stuff. And I saw kids hanging out at the top of the sunroof of the cars, and it was interesting. Yeah, like that. I would recommend that one. And like you said, you're paying per car, but it's not that much. And then there's a barn before you start going through where you stop at the barn and you can get, I don't know, those silly little bracelets that glow and whatever makes kids and people happy.
Popcorn.
Yeah, that's actually like how genius is that? You get your popcorn, you get all your concessions, and then you're really just staying in a parking lot for 30 minutes to 45 minutes.
That's
If
really
you
well
get a
thought out.
drink, there's like a light at the bottom of the drink, and the light it was a little crazy. There's like a few strobe lights in the car going on at the same
Well,
time.
and I think because of that, I think because they offer those things, the prices are reasonable for the ticket, and then that's where they get you, $18 for a drink or
Yeah, yeah.
whatever.
How much
Popcorn.
are
Crazy.
tickets in comparison?
I don't remember, $12, $15 for the car, for the entire car.
That's great. That's good.
Yeah. So if you have a third row, make it happen. Make it so.
Absolutely. No, that's really cool. Yeah, that's super cool. I wish it was walking though. I like the walking one so much.
Zilker's the walking one, and then we're doing Wimberley. I think we're going to Wimberley instead of Fredericksburg this year for New Year's. And I think they have there's other cities that have like walking ones like that.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, actually, give me 1 second.
Johnson City has
Yes,
one too. Yeah.
yeah. It's shoot, that's not it.
Some pictures. I haven't gone to the Johnson City one.
So here's my question to y'all: where can people find these types of things other than watching this channel? And so if anybody has anything to share in the comments, please do that. Like if you know of fun stuff to do in the winter or while it's cold, or if it even gets cold this season, where do you find that information for yourselves and for your family?
This one was kind of like word of mouth, social. Like I see
Is this,
people
is
at
this Johnson City?
yeah, and I'm like, oh, they
I
went to Johnson
haven't been to this one.
Noted.
Yeah, this one's really, really beautiful. I feel like this one's really magical because it's like the whole front yard is all the trees, all the what are they called? The live oak, all the old live oak trees are wrapped in lights, and the vibe there is really magical. And yeah, I'm a huge fan. I'm not going to get to go this year.
It almost looks like that's what Georgetown is trying to do this year, because I saw their downtown and they have a lot of the lights around the square and on the Capitol building as well. So I think they might be trying to do something similar.
Interesting. Okay,
Should.
cool.
That's a nice
That's
square they got.
Yeah, they should absolutely. That's very cool. All right, so we were talking about like where can people find these types of things? Have y'all ever used Meetup?
no, I not.
Not for this,
So
more
what was
professionally.
that, JJ?
Not for this stuff, more professionally.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking. Meetup is actually a really cool place to find groups of people that do things. And Austin's a very vibrant meetup focused city, like community focused city. And so if you use Meetup, just like Eventbrite, I put a lot of my events on Eventbrite or on Facebook events, but Meetup is almost an untapped resource for people. And then we have Do 512. So for people that haven't been here in forever or haven't been here forever, Do 512 is like the OG place to go find a lot of different things to do in the area. And it was Do 512 because that was the original Austin area code. If you move to Austin now, you don't get that area code. Do 512 is a really, really good site for that stuff. Do 512, Meetup, Eventbrite, and Facebook events. And if you're just open minded, you can find so much fun stuff. Like that one, the 37th Street Lights. I did that one last year. I didn't do it this year yet, anyway. And it's one of those like you go and park and you have to walk. It's really just a block, maybe 2 blocks, but it's ultra congested. And everyone, it's almost like if you live there, you have to decorate. And it's always like a competition to make it. It's so cool. Such a good spot for that. And then there's, I don't know, some kind of restaurant right at the end of it. I forget, where you can go and chill.
Yeah, we did that in college. 37th
Is
Street.
this
It's like
Do
Hyde Park,
512?
right?
Yeah, this is Do 512. This is good. So, and this kind of takes you through so many different options, like concerts and different, like all sorts of things. And you can't just put anything on here. There has to be a quota or criteria before you can put your event on there. So these are events that are going to, have some people and have maybe some funding behind it or some excitement behind it is how I'll say it.
This looks fun.
That's probably hilarious. That was actually another one I was going to say was comedy shows. Now is the perfect time to spend time at some of these comedy shows because we still have the Mothership and do we have a Laugh Factory in what's the one in not the Domain? Yeah, the Domain. What's the one in the Domain?
Comedy
That one's the Comedy Mothership.
Capital? No, Comedy
Capital. That's Capital. There you go. Thank you.
something. Yeah, that one's really big. Then there's a bunch of like little underground ones. A couple weeks ago, we went to one on the east side. I can't remember what it was called. but it was literally just off of East 6th Street. And it was this tiny little audience. It was like this industrial garage that had been turned into a little comedy show. And there were like 4 or 5 comedians that went up and performed. Super fun. Super,
I
super.
think that's the best, especially if you can catch like an open mic where people are trying out their comedy for the first time. To me, that is worlds better than, I mean, no offense to people that have like made it. Like I love seeing Chappelle and I love seeing Kevin Hart and all these people, but Bill Burr, I saw him.
Mm,
But if you go and you're in this like little intimate space, almost like a coffee shop, and somebody's just trying it out for the first time, you're hearing fresh material. They're just kind of coming out of their shell. And so I think the event itself ends up being almost more fun than the comedy.
yeah,
Or improv. Have you all done improv shows?
not here.
So good.
Here?
Did you say not here?
No, I haven't gone here, but I've been definitely wanting to.
Yeah. Like, so you can even sign up to do improv classes, and then you now have an audience that you have to perform for.
Yeah.
You want to talk about scary?
I'm actually really wanting to do that next year. That's one of my things to do, to just do something different and fun.
You're gonna do
Well, because
improv?
it puts you in that element.
Yeah. I want to do it.
Like
It
what's
puts
that?
you in an element where you have to be dynamic and adaptable. And a lot of people don't like, they stay within their comfort.
Yeah. No, it's a really good, really, really good skill. I used to do it in high school and outside of high school. I was part of a sketch comedy group.
Okay. Really? Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a whole other conversation. But yeah, no, I grew up in the theater, so
The
I was.
Secret Life of Daphne Quay.
Yeah. Yeah. I was.
That's
Anyway,
very
yeah,
good.
a whole nother talk for another time. But yeah, so anyway, point being, we do have a vibrant comedy scene and lots of stuff to do. I was actually going to tell you guys a little story about the comedy world. So, Comedy Mothership, owned by Joe Rogan on 6th Street,
Yep.
on Dirty Dirty.
Very sick.
Yeah, last year my boyfriend and I like to do like surprise dates from time to time, and he had a surprise date set up, and he didn't tell me what we were doing. We were driving downtown, so I was like, okay, it's like one of like 3 or 4 things. I didn't even know about the Comedy Mothership. So we get there, and then I see a cutout of Joe Rogan, and I told my boyfriend, I'm like, oh, are we going to see Joe Rogan? He's like, no, Joe Rogan owns this, but like he's not going to be here. And I was like, oh, who are we going to see? He's like, well, you're going to have to wait. And I was like, okay. I guess there's 2 theaters. There's one on the first floor and one on the second floor. And though I'm assuming they're both very small, but the one we went to on the second floor was very small. I think it probably held an audience of like 40 people. And I'm all like, what? Who are we gonna see? Who's it gonna be? And I thought maybe like some like local comedian or something. And freaking Russell Peters comes out, and
Wow.
he's like 3 yards in front of us, and I'm like pooping my pants with joy. It was such a good show, and he was interacting with us a lot because it was such a small audience. Comedians like Russell Peters usually sell out stadiums, so it's like
Yeah, but you get that access, that experience because you're right there. And I like the intimate setting a little bit more. Doesn't matter who the comedy
for sure.
comedian is.
Comedian. But yeah, no, it was really cool. Tickets for that kind of stuff do sell out very quickly, though. My boyfriend said he was literally driving on the highway, and he
Mm.
got a notification that Russell Peters was going to be in town, so he pulled over and bought the tickets because his car does not drive itself. But yeah,
And I got to mention another place that you can find stuff is Twitter. Some of the people, or X, right? Some of the people, especially comedians, if you follow them, they'll put their acts out or put something out, or somebody will put something out saying, hey, this person's going to be here at such and such time, or this place is doing real well. So, and there's a lot of places that you can go and line up and it's, what is it, like, not will call, it's ad hoc. I can't think of the term, but you show up there and you wait, and then if there's any extra seats, like Esther's Follies is like that, or if there's extra seats, then they're like, okay, come on in. Like, so if you didn't pre-buy tickets, you can still possibly have a chance to get in there and see it.
it's awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool. While we're talking about that, what were you gonna say? I saw you smiling. And
I was just go ahead, go for it.
I know I bring this up probably every podcast because I'm a nerd, but I feel like this is the time to get into board games if you're not already.
How
But you got to let me explain.
you
If
figure?
you go see a movie, you don't get to talk to people. You laugh, and so you get the vibe there. But if you're playing a game, and I don't care if it's like Cards Against Humanity is played out, right? But something where you're spending time with people and you get to understand their personality and the type of person they are, that's how you make real friendships. And so you get to have deeper conversations, and like you see who's going to be a traitor when you're playing Settlers of Catan or whatever. You're like, oh, I thought we were working together. No, okay, I see. You get to, like I said, you get to learn more about the group and the friends group that you're in the moment. So it's a lot of fun, and there are so many places that cater to that here now, which is really cool. So we've got Emerald Tavern, we've got Dragon's Lair, we've got Vigilante Games, we've got Wacko's Games, a lot of places like that.
I did not know that. That like board game night at somewhere aside from a house was a thing.
Oh my gosh. So like we have a bunch of board games and we'll have people come over and play, but how much cooler is it to go to a bar that has a bunch of board games that you can try out, or you can bring your own game and play there? That's cool.
But that's an indoor activity.
Well, that's what I was saying. While it's cold, so it's colder outside.
He's saying get out and meet up people.
Well, they also have a patio, but I look at it like,
We should talk about patio spots.
yeah, okay, so maybe that's it. So if you want to go and have a drink on the patio, they do coffee and they do beer and they do food. You can go there and then just play board games, and it's a wonderful time.
Board game on the patio, that would be the venue. I like that.
Yeah, it is. No, it's a great spot. It's a great spot. I was going there once a month for realtor board game night, but then I was like, I started going there with friends groups. It was great.
Awesome. JJ, were you going to say something?
I just love outdoor patios. Like I like the city. I like people walking by, the people watching, the activity. I like.
You know why that's so important? Because there's so many places outside of Texas where that's not even a thing. Like up north, how many restaurants? Like Daphne, how many restaurants did you have that you knew where it's like, oh, I'm going to go here for the patio?
There's like maybe a small handful that come to mind in different cities, but they're literally only good for like 2 months. And then, yeah, then they're
Yep.
like, they leave the tables outside, but then like in the winter, they like put the chairs up over it and everything's like chained up. You cannot. It's literally like 10 below there right now.
It's a whole lifestyle here. So if you're not from a warm climate and you're relocating to Austin, it is such a necessity here. And I even consult my buyer clients, especially like if you're buying a house, think about having a yard where you can entertain, because you'll spend more time in your yard if you're that type of person, or if you have a family, you want to be able to do that most times, right? Having a fan or a canopy of trees, but also having space to spend outside, something covered so you can hang out.
Yeah, we talk.
It's real big.
Yeah, no, that's actually a really good point. We talk a lot about yard space too when I have clients, even if they're not like yard people, because resale wise, most people do want some yard space to do whatever. And I feel like most people want the option to put in a pool at some point, even though very few actually do it.
Yeah, pool, hot tub, even a grill. Like even if you just want an outdoor like entertainment space, a grill and a TV. So like we did the hot tub and the grill and the TV, no pool, but it's great because even like every Sunday we're in the hot tub. Doesn't matter what the temperature is, because you just don't have to turn the heat on because it's still 80 degrees outside.
For sure.
Great. How about y'all do escape rooms?
No. Do you? I feel like you would. It feels like something that you would do.
I'm a nerd. I have VR play dates in here. Virtual reality, like you get together with a group of people and you can play, like you put on a headset and you can actually play and shoot zombies and stuff together. It's fun. Getting you ready for the apocalypse.
Have you been you've been to Sandbox?
That's exactly what I was referring to. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example.
What?
Now you want to talk about expensive.
Yeah.
That's expensive.
No. It's like,
Well, one of those is like you could buy a board game and play that for a year.
Is that an escape room?
Yeah. It's not an escape room, but
it's VR.
it's a virtual reality. So you put on a headset and you can see each other or your avatar of each other, but then you're going through a mission or an activity together. So it could be like rescue a prisoner from a jail cell.
Yeah. You know where Orange Fury is on the southern portion of Rock Rose?
Kinda.
Okay, do you know?
I know Rock
Nothing,
Road.
man.
I figure it's one side
You
of
know
it.
Rock Rose. Okay. Yeah, so there's Indian street food is that restaurant over there that took over Mad Greens.
Oh, okay.
It's right next to Jinya, the ramen bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right across from there.
That is the south side. Okay, gotcha.
Or Hat Creek. Hat Creek is there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Creek is so
Burger place.
actually,
Probably
oh,
not for kids because there's not a lot of those places.
what? Oh, not for kids.
Yeah, like Hat Creek, you got to think about the restaurant with like a slide, like a park, and Hat Creek is
Mhm.
Yeah,
one of the only
it
ones,
is.
especially in the Domain. I mean, of course, when you leave the Domain, you could go to like McDonald's or Chick-fil-A, even the other Hat Creeks, but Hat Creek at the Domain specifically has a spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, so talking about the domain, actually, we can talk a little bit more about patios, which is what JJ
Yep.
wanted to talk about.
Yep.
Rose is full of restaurants and bars, restaurants. What else? Yeah, okay.
I mean, if you still want to go to clubs, they've got clubs there, right? But they have
Seven, which
roof,
is rooftop. Yeah.
yes, rooftop patios too. Like specifically rooftops. That's a whole thing, right? Especially if you're on Dirty Six. Rainy, I think, has a few of those. But even if you have like friends that, let's say, live in condos or whatever, a lot of the condos have really cool rooftop patios with a pool up there, and you can just kind of hang out, or fire pit. There's so many places that have yards, fire pits, games, that sort of stuff. So I would say if you're looking around Austin for things to do while it's cold, you'll often find those types of things, but you have to know to search for them.
Do y'all
Yeah.
have
And
a
that's the
favorite
point of it.
patio?
What was that?
Do you have a favorite patio in town?
Favorite patio?
Yeah.
Mozart's.
Yeah. Has the water. Yeah. Back to
There
that.
was a wait. What did you say?
Mozart's coffee.
Oh yeah, I guess so. You did. You launched with that. You led. You led with that.
And Hula Hut. We didn't like we talked about it really quickly, but like Hula
Yeah.
Hut, you can get on that's very cool. It definitely feels like it has ocean vibes.
I don't remember the place, which is sad. I want to say this isn't even in Austin. I want to say it was in New Braunfels or Green or something like that, which is only a short drive, 40-minute drive. And it was a, like a bar and grill like that. There was no water, but the yard, like they had so much to do outside. They had a little mini putting range. They had the what do you call it? Like the bago game. They had the darts. There was just so much, and they had a guy out there grilling steaks. Like he was just out there grilling steaks for people. It felt like home. It was so cool. And then they, like almost everybody's yard, you have the little yard lights and stuff, and it was a cool vibe. It was a very cool vibe. And then all the seats were tree stumps, and then they had a fire pit over there. It was just cool. I gotta find that place. It was very unique.
I think that kind of thing is becoming more and more popular in these little trendy Austin drop, like Neighbors Restaurant, I think is what it's called. It overlooks the river and it's got this huge patio, but then it's got this gigantic yard as well with all these picnic tables that are overlooking the water. And then there's like a little band shell where they have performances and more little tables if you want to go eat your little food over there and watch a performance.
Where's it
In what do you call it? In Bastrop.
at?
1 second. I'm looking it up. I don't Neighbor's Kitchen and Yard. Okay.
Neighbors kitchen. Yep, 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 yep.
Yeah, let's
They have a lot of those in Dripping Springs, in Spicewood, in Bastrop, like kind of all over those style of places.
yeah.
And now, what's really cool? Kind of along these lines, a lot of the cities have a place like this. So like Leander has a place like this where it's a bunch of food trucks, but then inside, like around that or in between all the food trucks is a like an outdoor area with a playscape and a slide and stuff for people to hang out, just like that. Like Liberty Hill has one like that. Easton Park, there's one across from the neighborhood just like that. Lots of cool spots like this.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
that's like
it's
a legit restaurant too, as opposed to the food truck parks.
Hmm.
Is this close to other developments we've discussed?
let's see, this one in Bastrop.
That's probably close to the Colony, would be my guess.
It's close to Snailbrook and the Boring Company.
We should go out there sometime, guys.
I love this. Yeah.
Yeah, I've sold some places out there, man.
Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, the downtown in Bastrop is very vibrant, but I think a lot of the downtown in these like little towns are starting to lean this way. And just like Ian said, there's this type of really cool, trendy type restaurant in a lot of these like smaller cities. because I feel like it's starting to become expected. Like if you're not going to be downtown, like you better have something to bring people in. And this is a really good way to do it.
I think this is a trend with affordability and culture because traffic and, can you hike out to downtown Austin to get your, $20 old fashioned or whatever. So I think the food trucks are also moving out. That's why there's more food truck parks because what used to be a food truck park is now a building. And then they move around.
Yeah, they ruined South Congress, whoever they is.
No, they did. They did. But I think
Just
we already
moving around, right? So now there's like other food truck parks to visit, and it makes.
There have been a few popping up, but it's not the same. Even remember the original Torchy's on South Congress, like the OG food truck. It's not there. That park is gone.
Wow.
I was like, for real? Like this is iconic.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, obviously Torchy's has restaurants all over the place, but still.
Yeah, no, but it's not at all what it was, which sounds kind of small-minded, right? Like an old person, like it's not what it was, but like that was kind of the charm of it, and now it's become this chain.
I'm not saying I don't want change.
Yeah.
I'm saying I want preservation of history and new ideas. You can have both. You can have, like a meeting of the two, convergence of the two. In fact, that's fusions like that. Like there's this place called, what did I have? A Kurlachi, where I forget the name of the barbecue place, but it's like Kur something barbecue. And then they do kolaches, and you can only get it at this coffee shop because they use their barbecue for their kolaches. Where the heck was this? It was like 2 days ago. I don't know. I'm all over the place. Yeah, like that kind of stuff. Fusion type restaurants.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, just I think a preservation of history is so important. Just because one exists doesn't mean the other cannot. Like it's actually kind of sad because that happens in Austin a lot. It's like something will start at something and then that completely goes away and it like morphs into this like transformer type business and like okay that's cool but like this was really cute too.
There's nothing wrong with Transformers.
Nothing wrong with it, but this little cute thing should still have the right to continue on.
And even before the food trucks, I'm sure it was like something else or another venue because we're just speaking the past decade or so.
What's the place that's right next to Little Deli and Pizzeria in Brentwood?
Where?
Right next to Little Deli and Pizzeria.
Where? Friendwood?
Yeah, Brentwood.
Brentwood.
Yeah.
I heard Friendwood. I'm like, no clue where that is.
Brentwood. So it's like there's a coffee shop right there. It's that place.
Monkey Nest?
Might be. Is that what it's called? Well, let's just say yes. So if you know where Little Deli and Pizzeria, there's a coffee shop right there. And so we did a coffee meetup there, and they take the local barbecue and then they put that in their kolaches, and that's the only place that I think that you can get that.
I don't think that's Monkey Nest. No, because Monkey Nest just does like pastries and coffee.
That's another. So okay, I feel like,
which is plenty.
How many of you have seen backyards, especially that have like wood burning pizza ovens? We're always like, okay, now it's pizza time, pizza oven time in the backyard.
You have one in your backyard?
Yeah, but I think a lot of places have that. Like Summer Moon is a wood fire pizza place, or sorry, wood fire coffee place, and there's wood fire brick oven. A lot of brick oven pizza places in Austin, and that I feel like that's not a thing in the summer. It's not like people don't think about it the same way. No. It's already hot.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Hey, do we have any comments? Has anybody left anything for us?
I've been looking. I don't see any that have come in.
Okay.
Which is a shame. Y'all need to say something, whatever that something is. I'm just kidding.
But keep it respectful.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a unique topic, right? I think a lot of people come to our channels for information, right? Yeah. So I love giving that too. That's obviously the thing.
For sure.
Anybody into, I'll call it winter sports, but I'll say sports that you can play in the winter here. Hobbies? No pickleball? Nobody's a pickleball person yet?
No.
JJ, you have pickleball? So I've got an agent, and his new thing, apparently they're opening up a indoor cricket facility. Amazing. Because the Indian population, I guess that's a huge sport there.
Yes.
Within the culture. And I was like, really? I mean, I knew it, but I didn't know how important. It's like, I don't know, it's almost as important as mangoes, apparently. So an indoor cricket facility. It's going to be really cool.
So funny that you said that. I went to a client's baby shower this weekend and they are Indian and I was the only non-Indian person there. And I was talking to everybody and a couple people brought up because I would ask people like, how do you know so and so and so and so? And they're like, oh, our husbands, like I'm friends with the wife and our husbands play cricket together. That came up like 2 or 3 times. And I was just like, I feel like I knew this and you just confirmed that for me. So very cool.
Where else is there to play cricket?
The UK.
All the parks. Like if you're in Cedar Park at the Brushy Creek Park, where I think I've talked about mountain biking there, they have mountain biking, kayaking, they have slides, they have a little, they have their restrooms, those little climbing spiderweb things. They also have a skate park, which is really cool. They have like actual mountain biking trails, and then they have lots of walking trails. You see people fishing, and they have soccer fields, baseball field, and cricket fields.
Is it what is it called?
This one's at Brushy Creek Lake Park,
Wow.
between Cedar Park and no,
Austin.
it's pure Cedar Park. So it's like right before you get to Red Horn Coffee on Palmer and 1431 University.
Hold on. Brushy Creek what park?
Lake Park. That's like I love going there because it's so sparse and there's so many like varieties of activities and there's a lot of I like riding mountain bikes. There's a lot of trails that lead into that area.
I thought it was just called a Brushy Creek Park.
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as you get to the same place.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
there's
Yeah.
a peddler's bike shop there, and so the peddler's bike shop behind the peddler's bike shop and the Red Horn Coffee, there's actually a. I'm not going to call it a secret trail. I think people know about it, but it's a mountain biking trail. So you launch from there, and it takes you all through the Brushy Creek Park system. It's really, really cool. And so you can ride for, I don't know, I'd probably say 40, 50 miles without an issue. It's a lot of trail.
Where does 50 miles take you? Like Dallas? Waco?
No, because it's all winding stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're staying kind of like the Christmas lights. You're not
Yeah.
actually going anywhere. So, but it's cool. Well, I mean, you could hop on one of those the hybrid trails where it's like some sidewalk, and then so usually the way it'll work for mountain biking is you'll have the sidewalks where people are walking, and then you'll always see these little offshoots, and you're like, oh, I wonder what's over there, and those will have like little jumps or little we'll call them features, berms, and stuff for mountain.
That's awesome. I did not know that was
And people manicure this. Like
yeah.
people will take their free time and just focus on making sure the trails are safe for people to ride on. And it's usually bike shops and they have like volunteer groups that they'll put together. And this is the kind of stuff you find on Meetup and on Eventbrite and such.
That is so nice. That is
It's
so
very cool.
So I have a client that lives in Wells Branch and we went on a walk the other morning and she was telling me I guess for those listening, if you don't know where Wells Branch is, it is like a little northern neighborhood in Austin, right between 35 and Mopac. It's super cute. It's beautifully located in the middle of everything and you have access to a ton of stuff. But anyway, there's walking trails everywhere. And she was telling me that they do community park cleanup there a couple times a month. So she went out with a big garbage bag. They gave her a poker and she was filling her bag with trash.
Nice.
So like going back to what you said about people manicuring, like I think we take a lot of pride in our outdoor things, our parks, our trails, and the community really comes together to make sure it's maintained and comfortable.
Yeah. John S. said cricket, pickleball, and badminton indoors are popping up everywhere in Cedar Park and Leander.
Love that.
Yeah. So I guess pickleball I've seen showing up a lot and cricket I've seen showing up. Badminton though. That's kind of cool.
Making a comeback.
I guess so. Because you don't have to move the same. Like I think that's why pickleball is so darn popular, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like slow tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
So, but it's okay because sometimes you want to. And when I say that, that doesn't mean they can't be extremely intense. I mean, it's a workout.
Oh, it
But
is.
your reaction times are different. I feel like than tennis because you
Yeah.
hit that ball. The finesse is different in tennis. Just the backspin, the force, all that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
with pickleball, it's like you hit it like that and that. Tennis, it's like this and this.
Yeah, there's all these different styles. And again, so if somebody plays pickleball and you're super passionate about it, we're not downgrading it. We're just saying it's different. It's a different type of sport. It's like the difference between baseball and softball.
I'm downgrading it.
I know.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't care. But it is very
You're
different.
downgrading. I
I mean,
thought you said you were down for anything.
No, sometimes.
Yeah.
No, I was talking smack about pickleball, but not
fair.
really. No, I get why it's popular. It is fun. It's just a little bit slower.
I like it. I think it's a fun sport. And so, what more types of stuff you feel like is outdoor activity in Austin versus? So, like you're in Minnesota, we don't have, or you were in Minnesota. I was in Chicago. We had sledding down hills and stuff like that. Like that's what we did when we were kids, or it was too cold to go out, and we just wouldn't go out because it was terrible. And so you always saw the city almost shut down. I mean, there were people that would rush places, but they were always mad about it.
Yeah.
And then they would just wouldn't do anything outside. And so there was a whole like 6 months period where people just wouldn't leave the house unless it was for work or for some kind of family thing or to go drink. Like, cause that's just what people did because you had nothing else to do. And so it's like here it's almost like it's opened up because it's chilly
For chili, yeah, because our chili, I
at
think
50 degrees.
this is actually important to talk about. Like our winters are not. So both Ian and I basically grew up in the north, and
Midwest, yeah.
yeah,
North
Midwest,
Midwest, yeah.
yeah, and the winters there are legitimate winters, and we have very marked seasons. But it starts getting cold September sometimes, and it goes until about May sometimes. But here, it's like we get winter, and our winter is very, what's the word? I had a word, but it's not very consistent. So it's going to be Christmas next week if you're listening to this in December, and today it's like 76 degrees out, and it is wearing a cut off shirt. And that was kind of yeah,
We were literally cleaning the boat last weekend thinking we should probably take it out. Like it was warm enough to take the boat out. But we had already winterized it and everything. And it's like it's insane that we've got this weather. It's so bright and sunny outside right now. Like if you're a runner or you do anything outside, like it's probably still too warm for some people
yeah, right now. But then we do get a
right now.
couple of months, probably
Yeah.
like January, February. February is sort of when like Valentine's usually. That's when we start getting like the winter storms if we're going to get one.
Yeah.
And that's not a sure thing, right? Like some years we get it, some years we don't.
Speaking of home winterization, did you hear that it might freeze this week? Right?
Really?
Yeah.
I
Well,
saw somebody.
last week it was supposed to, and it might do it again this weekend.
Yeah, I winterized my listings that freeze night. There's like 2 freeze nights. Well, it was like 30, mid high 30s.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good point. Everybody who doesn't know about like running, trickling water through your pipes or what to put on your spigots because you haven't lived in a climate with cold or haven't experienced that, or you're new to the Austin area, our houses aren't built the same as like places in Canada is what I'll say, right? Just to have the extremes. And so you want to be prepared for the changing of the weather. You want to understand what happens if there's sitting water or if there was a snow dusting and what that does to the trees. When we had Snowmageddon here, so much ice formed on the trees that depending on the trees, they just couldn't even handle the weight and they would just fall over. I remember, and I love this. I love driving in the snow because I'm from there. So everybody else is having a hard time, and I'm like, all right, let's go. This is fun for me. But there was one point where I couldn't even get out of the driveway because the tree was laying in the driveway, and it was a big old oak tree, and it was just like spread completely open in the driveway. It was insane.
That's wild. That's true. Yeah, and it's like we don't have the tools and infrastructure to like get rid of snow and ice, and then also, yeah, just like you said, our trees can't.
Yeah.
They can't deal. It's really sad.
That's actually another really good point. Like, how many people have bags of street salt, like just in case? Probably nobody. How many people have a thing of gas in their garage just in case? Probably a lot of people, actually. This is Texas.
Texas.
Or propane, right? Having heaters for your patios, because we had these issues where people were passing away because they were in their cars, in their garage, just trying to stay warm. And it's like, you can't, the fumes, but in an emergency situation, you might not think through that,
Yeah.
right? Because you're in reptilian mode. You're not thinking through all of the things. You're just,
Especially when the power goes out. Those situations.
so yeah. And like, I actually talk about that a lot when we're dealing with clients and locations. It's like, is this on a hospital grid? Is this on a school grid? Is it near a police station? Is it near something that might last? Or do you have natural gas? Or do you have propane? Or is there going to be a septic system? And how does that happen when when the winter comes? Or how does that affect you when the winter comes? Fireplaces, like you got to have your chimneys checked right now, especially for board game nights. You can't have people over and the power goes out and you don't have ways to turn the lights on and the heat on.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I have these little power bricks. Where are they? This plugged into almost every wall in my house, right? And it has every kind of charger, and this just sits there and plugs in, and then that way, no matter what happens, they have some with lights on them and stuff. No matter what happens, you can grab power to go, but if the power goes out, you have something that you can use. I have bigger ones too, but these are great in
How
an
many do you
emergency.
have at your house? I'd be very curious to see a video of just that.
Of these,
Yeah.
I did a video of my house a while back and I never posted it. I never published it. I was going to talk about all the things. Like, okay, let me explain that I'm eccentric a
Yeah.
little bit.
Okay.
So, like my guest bathroom downstairs, I have a bidet and then auto sensing soap and and like a commercial hand dryer, and then the faucet is also auto sensing because I thought to myself, well, one, it was like during COVID, and I was like, okay, people don't want to touch stuff. This is an excuse to buy tech. And the light, everything turns on and off by itself. The toilet doesn't flush by itself. That one's one I'm thinking through.
I
It's
mean,
so
you know
silly.
it exists. What does your wife think about all this? Is she's just like, Ian's doing another project?
Yeah. Yeah, she just knows that I'm gonna do what I want to do as long as it doesn't get in her way. But it also, most of the things that I do are to help her not, I gotta be careful with my words here.
You so
So
good.
so like fans, it all started because like we'd lay down and she'd say, "Oh, can you turn the bedroom fan on and the light off?" I don't want a fan on because I like the heat, and I don't want to have to get up and turn the light off because I didn't turn it on. That started a whole fury of conversation, and so now everything can be done with the voice or your phone because I did it with the voice first. I was like, "You could say turn on the lights, turn off the fan," and she wouldn't say it. Why wouldn't you say it? I don't understand. That's easier than asking me to do it. It's the same as you asking me to do it. So then now it's an app on her phone, or she can say it. So now she has both choices.
Is she
She
just shy?
might.
Maybe she didn't want to talk to the tech. She's like, no, you say it.
What app? It's so silly. It's so silly. So now, like, we can walk in and we can say start a movie, and it'll, the mood lights will drop. I have something called surround lighting, where remember, we're we don't have any kids. Let me.
You
This
don't
is
even like yourself.
this
Right.
is. I
Play with
know.
all day
So like
long.
we have this surround lighting where you have surround sound. Well, the lighting plays based on what's on the TV, and the lights change colors based on that. So we've got the surrounds. So a helicopter flies by. Let's say it's a black helicopter. You'll see the lights shift and the sound shift along with the helicopter flying by. It's total immersion. And you want to go one step further. I even have a headset that you can put on and be in like a theater space, but that's a whole other. Anyway, that's a whole other. I'm a nerd.
Things to do indoors in the winter at Ian's house.
Yes, exactly. I love hosting. I really enjoy that.
I
To me,
would to
it's
be.
getting people together is life.
I wanna watch Duna in your house when they like call the worm. Doom 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 doom. Is what I'm talking about? And then like everything shakes and the sand goes up a little bit.
I miss
No,
it.
I could picture Ian's immersion happening.
You've seen Dune? Dune 2.
Oh yeah,
Okay, okay. You know when they call the worm, the grandfather
yeah,
worm?
yeah, yeah.
Doom, doom, and then like the sand starts shaking. JJ, you've
Yes.
Kinda.
Come on, JJ. Don't tell me you haven't seen Doom. Get
not even
out
a
of here,
movie.
man.
I've seen it in passing.
Okay, well, I'm not even a movie person, and my boyfriend took me to go see it, and that was my favorite part when they called the grandfather worm.
It was an emotional moment, right?
It was.
That is storytelling right there. I love movies. I also play like video, like a lot of games, computer games, because of the storytelling element or the community element. But yeah, I remember that particular scene. The worms came in, and I was just like, ooh, like as that was beating, my heart was beating. I was like, yes, yes,
Definitely. The grandfather
that's so
worm,
good.
the baby worm. Anyway, okay.
Daphne's
Real
frozen.
estate. I play real estate.
You play real estate games?
No, not really.
I need like a mental break a lot of times because our jobs, I don't think people know how stressful our jobs can be. Part of our job is to absorb the stress from our clients.
Yes.
But they just, if it seems easy to them, it's because we did a good job of managing their potential stress.
Mhm.
Right. And so because of that, I need a lot of creative outlets. I need a lot of time going camping or a lot of time playing games or just movies, something that takes me full immersion away from always thinking of work. And so I found video games are like moving chess for me.
Yeah, it's like kind of like a mini vacation. But you're going to like a different world.
Yeah. Yeah. It puts you in a different world. But some of the times, like I actually have a bunch of clients that came from that space because we would play games together for months, like one day a week or something, and just play. And so, like, you're doing the thing together because that's all it is anyway. Everything is what are you doing with the people? What are the memories you're creating with people? So it's pretty cool.
Covered a
So
lot
is
of
that what we're doing inside when it's cold outside? Playing video games and indoor cricket and watching Dune?
Can we just say too, we have some really good gyms. I like to go to the gym. That's like my consistent
Yes.
thing. Like we've got some top-notch gyms.
And not just like regular gyms. You have like Five, you have Hotworks, you have like Crunch Fitness, and then you have like these specialty. You have so many varieties.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have some really good like
Oh,
bodybuilding gyms in Austin too that are really specific and effective. And yeah,
this is
there's
about
yeah.
is about to be super controversial. Austin used to be the fitness capital of the United States until all the people from the Midwest and their fried butter moved here.
We were talking about this the other day, right? Like about a decade or so ago, yeah, Austin was like the fittest city, one of the fittest cities in the US. And I don't know that we've necessarily gotten like a lot of fatties. I just feel like people like talk about it less and it's not like the point, like the focal point anymore. I don't know
Mm.
why that is because I feel like Austin is still pretty fit. Like I think living here, we probably get used to it. But then I know when I travel, I look around and I'm like, oh no, yeah, Austin's for sure still very fit.
So I'm driving to Chicago in 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and so I will take note and make a report and see. 'Cause it's been a minute. We were in Detroit. Did you notice anything in Detroit?
I felt about the same as here.
That's the problem. That's not what Austin was.
Yeah, that's true. Remember, like Austin Fit magazine used to be a big deal.
Yeah,
JJ, I was gonna say, JJ, you've been here longer than both of us. Like, have you noticed a change in people
that's one of the
physiology?
I can't tell because I don't know if that was like a younger life that lived downtown. Because I felt like in Central Austin, and you live next to Town Lake, if you're downtown living, all you see is if you go to Town Lake right now, there's the fittest people in the city just
Mm.
doing this on a Tuesday afternoon. And maybe there wasn't as many restaurants, so there wasn't as much to eat, so they're just running and not eating. I don't know.
Or it was all farm to table?
But yeah, Austin Fit used to be a thing for sure.
It
It
definitely
might
was.
still be. I don't know. Maybe I'm out the mix. Is that magazine or magazine as a publication also? You're talking about the magazine,
Yeah, Austin Fit Fitness or something.
and
It's
maybe
still
the
around.
magazine.
I
Okay,
remember.
While we're talking, like you were talking about the magazine Austin Fit. While we're on the subject, if you're not already subscribed to or getting a community impact for whatever community you're living in, that could be a great way to find new stuff to do in the area because they do like restaurant announcements and they talk about businesses that are having promotions and all sorts of stuff. So, community impact for your neighborhood is going to be huge.
Impact is a huge publication. Like it's so good, and it talks about all the
Oh, it's
local
real good.
businesses. It's
It's
great.
been around forever and it's not going anyway.
Yeah, I love it. Y'all been to the new HEB in Hutto yet?
No, what about it?
There's one in Hutto and there's one on South Congress. Like
South.
I guess it's super popular, right? So I've driven by both, and I was like, should I stop in? No. Oh, Tim Hortons just opened up in Round Rock. Tim Hortons, the Canadian donut pizza coffee place.
Great, that's what we need in Austin, but in the US's fittest city.
You know what I'm saying? These things start coming into town, then people are more distracted from running the hike and bike trail. I think that might be occurring.
Well, they need to put them on the hike and bike trail.
We
That's what they
should.
need.
See?
Okay. We are well past the 3 p.m. mark. We did start a little bit late. I mean, that's all I have. I don't want to force end a conversation if you guys are still going.
No, you're right. We've been going for a minute. It's because we also started late, and that's completely my fault. And I'm sorry for that for everybody. But yeah, I think it was good. If you have any, I would say, if you have any final thoughts, let's hit it.
Go explore, go to the gym, stay fit. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm not kidding. But I mean, yeah, there's just a lot of stuff to do in Austin in the outdoors. Whether it's cold out or not, obviously it's going to be more comfortable this time of year.
I think
Yeah,
this is
generally
a great opportunity. Go
good.
ahead, JJ.
Yeah, generally I can appreciate when the weather goes down because I step out and I'm like, this is what it's like in different cities. That's not like scorching laser hot. And I'll even slip in the ice skating at Whole Foods downtown
Foods, yep.
upstairs. Yeah, so I
That's
definitely like the winters here. Not the freezing, but like when it cools down.
that's a good one. I would say that there's people that are thinking of making Austin home. A lot of times they visit during the holidays, like now, and they think that this weather is what they're going to experience throughout the year. And we want you to get comfortable with this because you can spend a lot of time here. But if you're not used to extreme heat, this is not an indication of what it can be in the summer. And so I just want people to be cognizant of that. Don't come visit in the winter and then think, oh yeah, I could do this, and then you're trying to sell your house by the summer after you've moved here, because it's a very extreme difference. Everybody on January 1st, let me know if you're going polar bear plunging in the 60-degree Barton Springs pool.
Maybe.
It's not really that cold. Not really. I did it. I did it
The
once.
weather.
But it's so funny because I said it was polar bear plunge and it wasn't. I mean, it's Barton Springs. It's the same temperature all year versus like an actual polar bear plunge where it's like negative anything. Anyway,
Gross.
gross. We left the Midwest to get away from that stuff, Daphne.
I'm here in the,
I love it.
yeah.
Later, everybody.
Thank you.
Amen.